As soon as it came up as a story, I thought, well, that's timely because they're in on Wednesday. When we talk about visas with you, we always include the golden visa, and as people may have noticed in our Spanish news, being scrapped in Spain, definitely. The plans are we don't have a date yet.
Well, it's still politics. Let's say that because actually. They are discussing about removing only one requirement, which is got to do with property.
Yes.
Okay, so the golden visa, as far as I understand today, it will stay, but they're discussing about the impact on property, isn't it, Pedro?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's go to the prologue of an announcement that was done on Monday by the government. At the end, it's politics. At the end, they say, because of this is affecting the inflation is creating a nightmare for young people in order to have access to properties, which once you see the numbers, and I read it last year in 2023, transactions on property, buying and selling properties, it was 640,000 transactions in Spain in 2023, 640,000. Golden visa was applied 589. So it's 0.1. Most of the properties that has been bought and applied for golden visa is over 500,000 euros. You know that you can buy one property over 500,000 euros, but you can also buy 5 properties of 100,000 euros.
Sure.
But that could affect in some ways if all the golden visa and not just 500, it will be like 6,000 or 70,000. Then may affect, but not in these numbers.
No, I guess when we're talking property or one property, 500,000 euros, that's not really the sort of thing that young people in Spain would be buying first out. They're buying apartments somewhere.
That's correct.
Without mortgage.
Yeah, right, exactly. But also, it depends where it is as well. I mean, around this area, a lot of properties are worth that or much, a lot more.
No, I mean, in Madrid, in the centre of Madrid, especially in the centre, you will never find something less than 500. But we're talking about like the centre of London, the centre
Same
of
as
Madrid.
London,
You know, but I think it's more politics.
That's right.
And probably the time of sending the message is very appropriate for their purposes. I mean, what I'm saying?
That was the main thing that got mentioned, and it's the bit everyone always remembers as well. Oh, yeah, property, you've got to spend over 500,000 euros. There are other ways of getting one, which is investing in the country and buying public debt and all sorts.
Right.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it has gone in all the other countries, isn't it? Portugal, I think, was most recent to scrap it.
Yeah, they've scrapped it because I think Italy and Greece, they still have it, and some others. Portugal scrap it, but probably because they're satisfied already with the requirements, and it was to bring money in, and they have a property problem in Portugal, and Europe is being behind as well. These are all wanted, but I think Europe wanted out because we're giving access to the whole Schengen area. And they were not very happy with that, were they?
I mean, the files by the European Union from Brussels, it was not open really for Spain. The announcement really by the government has been in order to make a report to the Ministerio de Vivienda, which is the property ministry, in order to see how it's affecting this. So it is really an announcement, it's really politics, it's really
social.
But I mean, once that report, for the government should be saying if it is really affecting, but obviously with the numbers we know it's not. No. And let's see what happens. Let's see what is approved by Brussels in this case, or by the recommendations by European Union. Once we have a report, they will say, okay, but this is good or not. But that will not stop at all for international investors to buy properties in Spain, because at the end. We are talking about golden visa. I'll repeat the number: 580. I think it's 89 last year, which is very, very low. It's not. It's nothing to.
It's not and Pedro just discussing this morning with him. He said we've been filing 20% of all of them. So that's very encouraging. Actually,
we know a lot of golden visa, obviously, about transactions, about proceeding. I mean, and. But the media of this by the government, obviously they want to, because they are in elections. Catalonia has elections in a month and a half. So at the end they want to announce things that are like popular in order to cut some for the rich, and then give it to the.
Yeah, and it wasn't their policy, was it? It was introduced by the Partido Popular. And was it 2013?
That was 2013.
That's right.
And to bring attraction, to be honest, I think Golden Visa is very good, because if you have the money, you're going to spend it anyway. Now, we could change it into non-lucrative visa, but obviously you need to spend more than 6 months, and then you need the become tax resident. But I don't think people will not meet their requirements. I think everybody on the Golden Visa must already meet the requirements of non-lucrative visa.
Yeah. And most of the Golden Visa applications, at the end, those who has invested, at the end do not become resident or do not become tax resident.
Yeah.
No.
It is just a visa to.
But they can come and go as they please.
Yes,
can't they?
exactly.
Yeah. I mean, the obvious question is, I know someone that has one through buying the property. What happens when it expires? Because it's 3 years they were valid for, right? So what happens when that runs out and if it's been scrapped?
Eventually, you mean after the
so
three?
if it goes and their 3 years
I think
is
it will
up,
renew, but this is me guessing. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't think they will go against the acquired rights. Okay.
Shouldn't be. I mean, it would be
No.
against the
Yeah.
law, really. I mean, if
Yeah.
they do something against the. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
think it should.
No,
that will
no,
not happen.
no.
But what we need to check is regarding the authorization that is given now. I mean, well, let's say a period of 3 years or maybe 5 years. When expires, if will not be renewed or not, or could be renewed one more time. This is something that we need to check. We need to wait until it's approved.
Until the law is approved. But I find it hard
if it's
to
approved,
believe.
maybe, because maybe nothing happens.
Yeah. First, we'll need a law to approve the modification of the Golden Visa. Okay, that's the number one. One this happen, and I don't expect that to happen quickly. I mean, you never know with politics, but I don't expect this to go
No.
very, very fast. That's number one. And number two, if you are qualifying now and they just stop it, I don't see the law saying you cannot renew it because you already have acquired rights. So I will find hard to believe to upset people who already did it on one purpose and now they cannot renew it because the law changed. I mean, could it happen? Yes, but do I see that happening? I don't see it, but you never know. As I said, people with Golden Visa could change it into a non-lucrative visa easily because they're going to meet the requirements anyway.
Sure.
The only problem is that you need to stay more than 6 months with that one.
But you can't work here.
You cannot work with non-lucrative visa until 5 years.
In case that you want to work, there's another kind of visa like an employee or like a self-employment or maybe by nomad visa to work remotely. So there are different kind of visa options in order to change from the Golden Visa. But let's see what is going to happen. Let's see what is going to be approved. Maybe it's going to be increased the minimum investment on properties. Maybe 500,000 euros. It is increased to maybe 1 billion.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's see what happens. Let's see what this report that is going to be made says.
I just encourage people, if they think they have the papers and the opportunity, to go ahead and do it as soon as possible.
I was going to say, you're not putting it on hold then. You're still taking.
No,
you're still dealing with applications.
We're just rushing and pushing. And I encourage people that qualify to do it as soon as possible, because that's an option they have and they might have acquired rights.
I mean, you've sort of answered it already, but what are you saying to people that have been emailing you because they've got one in existence? They say, what's going to happen when it expires? What's your message?
Well,
we don't know at the moment.
We don't know what is going to be the regime they're going to do it. I find it hard to believe that that they will not respect acquired rights to renew it. But as I said, it was hard to believe as well. Brexit, it was hard to believe so many things. And
my opinion will be maintained in some sort of period of time for those who already got it.
Yeah.
We need to see what is going to be that time. I mean, is it going to be for the following renewal or for more than that? Is the expectation is more? I understand it will be